Welcome to Survivors. My name is James. Here we like to talk about personal development and personal growth for truck drivers, and we love talking about topics related to the trucking industry. In this video, we're going to discuss, is it worth still being a truck driver in 2025? I'm currently an active over-the-road truck driver, so I'm going to give you 3 reasons in my experience, in my opinion, why it's still a good idea to be a truck driver. And stay around for the last one, the third one, because it's going to be a perk that you might enjoy in this industry if you're thinking about becoming a truck driver. I'm going to start out with number 1, and that is, according to the American Trucking Association, this is a statistic. I know statistics aren't perfect, but it gives us a broad idea of what's going on. According to the American Trucking Association, ATA, and I'm reading off the website here, the index is based on surveys of ATA members and reflects contract freight. Now, as you might know, they measure the economy based upon a number, but here we're talking about the trucking industry, and in January 2024, the ATA says that the index decreased 3.5%. In February of 2024, the index increased 4.3%. In March, the index decreased 2%, which was the continuation of the truck freight recession. But in November, the index decreased 1.9%. And I want to emphasize the very last piece here, element. It says, despite monthly fluctuations, the total tonnage was up 1.1% since January 2024. So what does this tell us according to the ATA? What we are learning is that despite the fluctuations in the trucking industry, as you can see, it was high, it was low, and then it went back up. But overall, it remained to be up about 1.1%. And this is good news because despite what the economy is doing, the ups and downs, it appears that the trucking industry continues to move goods and move forward. You'll remember in the pandemic times where trucking actually increased in demand, and there were truck drivers needing to move essential items, emergency items, and at that time, of course, it was things like toilet paper and masks, and you remember everybody was fighting for hand sanitizer. All these things were needed and essential, and guess who has to move them? A truck driver. So this first reason, right off the bat, is that it has economic stability. And this is important because sometimes we fear, well, what if the economy slows down? What if this happens? Now I can bring and interject a political point with a strike of a pen, a politician or even a president or a member of Congress or someone related to this industry that is taking care of this department can change everything. And so we know that, but we want to stay positive. In my personal experience, things are still steady and things are still moving forward, but it is contingent upon the second reason that I'm going to share with you, and that is the reason that it is still a good idea to be a truck driver despite the economy is because there are still good companies out there. I do understand the owner-operator side of things is different. That's a different game you got to play. It's much more difficult and challenging as an owner-operator, and you'll hear stories about owner-operators saying it's not a good time to be in this industry as an independent trucker because of price wars and just other bigger companies taking the freight from the little guy, and you get this kind of a picture in this kind of dynamic. And so what we're talking about is companies that you work for as a W-2 employee. And I can personally give my experience with the company that I'm with. I've seen a good steady pattern in 2024, despite the statistics that we just read. They seem to be true because even if there are up and downs, that 1.1% still shows a steady increase over time. And that's an important number because over time is what we're more concerned about as long as it's staying steady and even increasing a little bit, that's good news for someone wanting to be a truck driver, someone that's thinking about becoming a truck driver, and even if you are a seasoned truck driver and still moving along, working towards retirement, that's good news for all of us. Now, one thing to consider in this second point that we are making is what kind of freight is your company moving, because this will determine if it's a good company to be with. What are they moving? Are they moving food or plastics or essential items is the key word. Because if they are moving things that consumers buy year around and that are needed and essential, guess what? You're going to continue to get the miles despite the season. And so this is important to note, to jot down and make a mental note of, because if you're trying to break into the industry in 2025 and you're thinking about, should I be a truck driver, what's going on? The one thing that you want to put at the forefront is this company a stable company? Is this company a strong company that has very good customers that they can rely on and move freight regardless of the seasons of the economic times? And that's an important question that you must answer before you consider becoming a truck driver. In my personal experience, I have seen a good pattern. There has been consistent mileage throughout 2024, now breaking into 2025. I know things slow down a little bit, and that's due to the holidays, but we are moving forward, still getting miles, still having good customers out there, and I'm very thankful for this dynamic and to be part of a company like this. So definitely 2 reasons so far is economic stability. As we have read the statistic, according to the ATA, things are still steady and slowly increasing despite the circumstances we are surrounded by. And secondly, is it worth being a truck driver? Yes, because there are good companies out there and you must seek them and find them. And sometimes I know it's trial and error. I have a separate video about this, of what I had to go through to make 100K in the trucking industry. So check that video out, and I'll put it in the end screen of this video. And I just want to take a moment, if you're finding value so far and you like content like this, consider liking the video and sharing this with other truck drivers, and also with maybe someone that is trying to break into the industry. So here is the third reason, and this is the perk of the industry and why I think it is good to still be a truck driver in 2025, is that you have freedom. And I've mentioned this in other discussions and in other videos. You don't have a supervisor or someone down your neck micromanaging you every day. And this is important because when a manager or a supervisor starts to close you in every day and they're just looking over your shoulder and pinpointing, oh, you should do this, you need to do this, and you get that kind of feeling that I'm talking about, and that can be frustrating, that could be irritating for the work environment, and eventually it can push you to quit or even just find another career field. In the trucking industry, what I enjoy, and this is a huge perk, is the open road. I get to sightsee and explore different things. I get to try out different foods. I get to have the sense of security that I'm moving goods and essential items and I'm going to have a consistent paycheck. And this is the third reason why I think that you should become a truck driver if you're considering it. And also, if you're still in the industry, a seasoned truck driver, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you are with a good company and you have a good dispatch manager that's not always calling you, when's your ETA? When do you think that you're going to be there? Constantly, of course, they need to know these things for customer service, but you know what I'm talking about when they are just down you all the time. The perk of the industry when you're with a good company is that you don't have that dynamic. You feel a sense of freedom in the open road. Now, these are 3 reasons: the economic stability, knowing that there are good trucking companies out there, and the perks of truck driving. In my case, I enjoy the freedom. Now, allow me to share this last part of the video about personal development for truck drivers. If you're in the industry, I just want to remind you that always assure that you have a good network of people or a person that you trust. If you're an OTR driver like myself, I know truck driving day in and day out can get very tiring, and sometimes the days go by so fast and the weeks go by so fast, and maybe you have not contacted your family or your significant other enough to make sure that you're keeping a connection and a trust with the person that you confide in. You know, it can weigh on the mind, the body, and the spirit. And so my encouragement is make sure that we are communicating with someone to make sure we are expressing our feelings. And also, another little tip is to make sure that we are eating the best that we can out here. I understand that it is hard to bring your own food and cook on the road. That takes a level of discipline. If you're doing that, bringing your own food and just cooking better meals, hats off to you. I do it from time to time. It does involve a lot of preparation and a discipline, and so I know that that is something good that you're doing. And of course, exercising helps tremendously in the trucking industry. It eliminates brain fog, it keeps the blood flow, or even just walking in the parking lot or parking further from the store and making sure that you're taking a little bit of a longer walk will help your overall well-being. So these are just a quick few personal development tips. I hope that you gain value from the 3 reasons why I think that truck driving in 2025 is still worth it, and why you should become a truck driver if you're thinking about it or trying to break in the industry. Again, my name is James with Survivoneers. Don't forget to check out what I had to go through to make $100K a year in the trucking industry. It will come up here shortly in the end screen. And don't forget to like this video and share it with another fellow truck driver, and subscribe to our trucking channel if you are enjoying content like this.